Good day. One thing this pandemic has taught us is how precious time is. We do not have unlimited time, therefore, we need to maximize the time that we have here on Mother Earth. I'm reading from Psalms 90, verse 10, 12, and 17. Our days may come to 70 years or 80, if our strength endures. Yet the best of them are but trouble and sorrow, for they quickly pass, and we fly away. So the psalmist say that our days are 70 years or 80. And if our strength endures, yet the best of them are but trouble and sorrow, for they quickly pass, and we fly away. Some of us might have reached that milestone already. Some of us are maybe on our way to reach that milestone. But what little time we have, we should use wisely for eternal good. Verse 12 says, "Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." And that is what time is all about. Is that God must teach us to gain a heart of wisdom, that we may number our days. We cannot live as if we have unlimited time. No. We must pray and ask God to give us wisdom so that we can use our time here on earth wisely. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. The number of our days should teach us wisdom. The number of our days should teach us what is important and what is not important. Verse 17 says, "May the favor of the Lord our God rest on us. Establish the work of our hands for us." Yes, establish the work of our hands. Because our days are numbered, we need to make our work count. And the psalmist says in verse 17, establish the work of our hands. We need to know what it is. We need to know the purpose for being here on earth. And the work of our hands needs to be established by God. And I know some of you probably don't know where you're going. Some of us already found our purpose. But it doesn't mean that because I haven't achieved it as yet, that I should do nothing. Whatever your hand finds to do, do that. Do whatever your hands find to do, and ultimately, you will find your purpose for life. But we need to work. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 10, "I have seen the burden God has laid on the human race." I want to ask you, what burden did God lay upon your heart? This morning, I listened to a preacher on TV, and he's burdened to see the children of God coming back to the house of God. He's burdened with those who are lost, with those who are hurting out there. That is his burden. What are you burdened with? What is it that God has pressed so dearly upon your heart? For some of us, it might be different things. Some of us in the church, it might be evangelism. Some of us teaching. Some of us other things. I don't know what it is. But God places burdens on the inside of us to propel us into His eternal purposes Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11, He has made everything beautiful and appropriate in its time. He has also planted eternity. Listen to this. He has planted eternity, a sense of divine purpose in the human heart. This is what God has planted in each and every human being. The Word of God says He has planted eternity inside all of us, a sense of purpose in the human heart. That is why human beings without God, without the eternal purpose, there will always be a void in such a human being. There will always be an emptiness, because God has created us. God has put in us. He planted on the inside of us eternity, a sense of divine purpose in the human heart. That is why you find in the olden days, even if people did not have the gospel, they worshipped. They worshipped the sun. They worshipped the moon. Because on the inside of every man is God has planted eternity, a sense of divine purpose in the human heart. It says a mysterious longing which nothing under the sun can satisfy except God. This is what the Amplified Bible says. It's a mysterious longing which nothing under the sun can satisfy except God. Yet men find out what God has done in His overall plan from the beginning to the end. God has put a sense of purpose in every human being. And that purpose is not an earthly purpose. That purpose is an eternal purpose. It's a divine purpose in the heart of every human being. Ecclesiastes 3:14. I know that everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it, and nothing can be taken from it. God does it so that people would fear Him. Everything that God does is for His honor, is for His glory, is so that men, human beings, can revere Him. I want to say to you, and I want to encourage you, and say to you this day that the little time that you have, use it wisely. Say like the psalmist say, teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. On the inside of you, there is eternal purpose. On the inside of you, God has put a burden on your heart, and it's for you to find it. It's for you to find out what your eternal purpose is, and it is for you to find work for your hands and do what God has called you to do.